Hello. Not sure what exactly this is, but I want to do it. I guess sort of a sketch vlog, something to keep me honest on my practice. But yeah, I don't expect anyone to ever see this, so who knows? Um, my name's Chris, and I like to sketch airplanes and cars. Um, so I'll just be doing an airplane and talking today. I like to start with a side view. Um, it would seem I'd like to there was like a vertical stabilizer and some sort of, I don't think it was a Constellation, but some old bomber type World War II-esque era plane, and it was at a large area, and the whole point of the problem was it was like it would twist the bodies. It was so much area, not enough support, and so they added this guy to like reinforce, almost like a rib. So I always kind of like adding that in my concepts. I kind of want this to look faster. And there's always a question of where the engines go. It's always sort of determining what the thing looks like. I like to sort of implant them in the fuselage most of the time. So we'll just do that sort of thing. And then, I don't know, I know there's like some super rigorous ways to sketch, but the only ones that I really try to follow for now, I do erase. I know that's like a thing. Just so I can see what I'm doing. And you can see by my lines, they're so sloppy and not on top of each other. I don't know, I'm not being hard on myself. But I just do the center lines of things, keeps it symmetrical, and gives you an idea of sort of the placement. So I have these, and the idea is that they're sort of fused into the fuselage. So I add that sort of shape to give that effect. And then I don't really want it to be like have like an exhaust here. I want it to be like a big center one here. So these will have to be like more like their intakes rather than the engines are there. So sort of like that. And then it provides a good spot for wings to go. So I like to mark out the front of the leading edge, baseline, the back point, and I could have them going down or up. Or just straight, honestly. I like having the I like the sort of like top, like the lower wing, and the higher horizontal stabilizer. I've been critiqued by my buddies at work. I'm a mechanical engineer at an aerospace company, so I'm surrounded by aerospace dudes, and they love to critique my designs and say that there's not enough like distance in that region for airflow and stuff like that. But so I try to make them higher now, just to avoid their critiques. Although I don't know, I always try to welcome critiques, I guess. Something I like to do also for this guy is add these like, I guess, leaves. Or like they're imitating the leaves of like an adjustable exhaust nozzle. I think that can look nice. I don't know, how about this wing sweep or the wing shape or just the general. Maybe I'll have a wing like up here, like a dihedral coming down. And then that's sort of a nice contrast to that top one. That's what I'm going to do. I'm really not seeing the effect of this blended body in this, but we'll take care of that in the actual view. Pretty simple guy. I can get complex sometimes with pretty fantastical interpretations of an airplane, but all right, let's start on this. So I'm gonna do my center line. That wasn't too bad. Working on my straight lines. And then I remember that ellipses that are sort of further away end up more circular, so I'll just start with a circle, just, you know, why not? And then I do my fuselage bodies as one huge like section of a circular like arc. So that's just a bit of a circle there. And do the same the other side. So here's our body. Hopefully you can see that. I'm probably gonna go over this with ink just so it can be seen. And now I'm gonna just throw some reference ellipses. So like towards the front, I'm gonna make sure that's pretty thin. And then this one's be like our medium ellipse. By no means probably remotely correct, but that's kind of the point. Or not the point, but I don't care for now, I guess. I will eventually, hopefully, I'll get to a point where that starts to matter, but so let's say I want these. This will be my line for where my inlets are. So I'll do that as my center line. Medium ellipse there, and then of course the ellipses are always like the minor axis is aligned with the center axis. Pretty sure that's a thing. So we'll do that. I kind of liked when I did this swoop up top. Also, this is a webcam, and I'm filming you. You're looking upside down right now. I'm gonna flip it in post, so I don't know what you can or really can't see. Might be tough, but you'll just bear with me, I guess. So we got, no, that's too shallow, like that. Am I lagging here? I don't know. Sorry if I am. I mean, I don't know why I'm, you know, I don't know. I'll do my second line. Make it like a teeny bit smaller. I mean, of course, this is going to be completely invisible in this view, but I like to do the draw through method. Just sort of x-ray everything and make sure everything is being taken care of. Not sure how to really suggest, I guess that suggests that sort of shape going on there. And then I am going to add one of my favorite details is like a shock cone. I'm a fan of those. Add one over here, those totally inconsequential. Yeah, this is way too far back really to be rooting a wing. That's why I didn't really like it up there. So this is a nice opportunity. And you know what? Let's even have some fun with having like a separate wing body on the top. So we're going real dihedral, my gosh. So I have it like, oh, and then that could blend into this sort of structure we were talking about before. So that actually could be cool. So I don't really want to hide this swoop part. So I'm gonna keep it like a relatively thin wing. We'll call it that. And do somewhat of a airfoil, but on these types of planes, they typically don't have much of a foil anyway, so. Okay. That's something. That sort of shape into the top. And then now I will do some construction. So we'll say this is my main. This is gonna. Oh boy, that was awful. This is gonna determine my vanishing point ish. We'll do that guy, and then we can follow what we've already established here. Oh god, that's not good. I mean, a little. Yeah, so we're going way off over there, but that's like our angle. So say if we were to hit that, it would be maybe like that sort of thing. So that'll come in handy for me to the tail. And then now I can drop this point down to meet this line. And then so we go parallel with my center line, drop that down, pick my midpoint of that. And then now I can go from this corner through that midpoint roughly to there. And then I've also got my vanishing point somewhere back there. But this is looking... Oh, that's not my... I'm silly here. Let me add this line that I completely forgot to sketch in. I was going off of the wrong line there. So now that being my center point is crazy. Am I stupid here? What's going on? I think I'm supposed to drop off this. That's my bad. Oh gosh. So now let's... Yeah, that's actually incidentally very similar. Now if we have like this line going there, that one there, we'll say that's like our line, add in the rough sort of foil. And then I just connect the lines. Okay, have our wings roughed in. This is such a harsh, just taken away from what the hell I'm supposed to see. I don't know. Does this make sense? We'll call it good. Again, this is just construction. We'll darken the lines here. So I am going to maintain this sort of spine that goes off of this wing structure. We'll add maybe some fillets. I'm a generous. I like filleting things, getting that nice rounded over. It's a really big vertical stabilizer. Give some scale to this. I really kind of hate that angle. Let's get our top line here first. It's not bad. It's not horrible. I keep glitching. I guess that'll show up in the recording, but truly, maybe I'll improve this one day. But just sort of had this stuff lying around from gaming days, so now we just need our horizontal stabilizer, which can be pretty simple. Just sort of add that. We're going off the page here, so let's maybe just not make it so extreme. Not that should dictate the design of an object, but we'll just have it go straight across. And so, of course, doing our rectangle thing, midpoint, this corner, making a line roughly there, following close to that angle, do that. Oh boy, missed completely. Add in a bit of a round. Make that straighten out, make that 3D. Okay. I do sometimes put in control surfaces. Sometimes I'll suggest them by just the cuts, not actually define the whole rectangle. I do like to suggest them. It's like more body lines that are showing the geometry and shape of things. Of course, we got our me get this right. You got ailerons out here, and it would be maybe thinner. So we got our main like aileron right there, and then our flap. It's only used in landings and such. Maybe we'll just say these twist as a whole, sort of. So don't worry about that up there. Add in roughly similar. So like aileron, flap. Oh god, that line's way off. I'm almost not loving the shock cone. I don't know. I'll do that last. And I'm also debating whether to darken the lines with a pencil or use a marker. I might just do pencil for now. So let's just get to darkening here. This is on top. Well, let's just do that, and then we'll leave that for later determination. Got that. This is one of our lines. This wing. I found that sort of indicating where the intense curvature of the foil is going on with that secondary line can be helpful for showing form. And get that foil in. Apparently, I think the bottom lines are being a little heavier can help ground an object. Some ID kids are probably gonna come in here and wreck me, but oh well. I do not have an industrial design degree, so I can laugh all I want. I do have a master of design degree where I focus learning or sort of touching the grass of a lot of their topics, industrial design, but I really just wanted to learn a bit so I could marry it with my mechanical engineering degree so that I could make cooler things than glue nozzle number 43 on this industrial piece of machinery, you know what I mean? I really want to be a product designer. I haven't quite made it there yet. Job market's pretty tough, but hopefully one day soon. I wish I didn't make those this dark, so I'm just going to lightly reduce the saturation on those vibes there. Cool, let's continue. I didn't do my exhaust. That's one of my favorite things. And then also the little thing here. Oh, and then, yeah, I shouldn't have made that. Let's get rid of that. So have that blended there, and then like a little blend there. And I can lighten all of this. So now it's just awkward. I kind of have this center line disappearing into nothing, but oh well. I have to deal with it. I kind of hate that radius. It really does not look good. Also, that line is not following. But that's not. Well, yeah, because then we can have it. Yeah, we'll have a curve around with the fuselage. That'll be good. Okay. We'll do that. Get this guy going, and then again, adding that indicator of where the radius is can really help. And see how that thickened that just right away. That was sweet. Darken this bottom line here. But yeah, like I said, I'm a mechanical engineer out of fear of not having a job early on. So that's what I first studied. Finished that. It's minor materials engineering. This is kind of what I went to University of Cincinnati. That's kind of what they do. And yeah, went back because I just worked with industrial designer on a co-op, and I was like, oh, that's actually exactly what I would kind of prefer doing. And I got matched with him on a golf outing, believe it or not, and talked to him all day about what I should do. He recommended either there's the quick way or the slow way. And the slow way is teach myself on my own time. And that's what he did with engineering, actually, so that he could have engineering clients like the company that I was working for. Or I'd go back to school for it. I was like, well, shit. I kind of liked going to UC anyway, so maybe I'll just go back. But it would have been a whole another 5 years doing an industrial design degree. So I did Master of Design because that sort of lets you bring a design plus what mentality. And a lot of undergrad designers did do Master of Designs because it also lets you be a professor. Get that, whatever that's a terminal degree. It's a terminal degree. But there were some, the odd neuroscience major doing it as well and stuff. So it really wasn't that much of a stretch for me to be there. And I met some really cool faculty. Sort of my body lines here. Who sort of taught me more about industrial design and helped to sort of guide my learning, because I kind of tried taking some undergrad courses and sort of sitting in on those, but some of the professors were really hard to get in contact for making special arrangements. So it was more beneficial to just do independent studies with professors that were communicative and I got along with. And I kind of forget what I was saying or what I was talking about, but so yeah. I find this to be a very fun combination. So, I know about a dihedral wing setup. I have heard from other engineers about the required air gap here to make sure that this horizontal stabilizer is actually providing enough lift. So it's like that sort of stuff. I mean, designers can make a cool looking airplane, but it's all just based on what feels like essentially nothing. And what some people like to say is like the ego of the designer. I'm not 100% on that, calling it that. But yeah, it's just sort of nice to have a baseline reference, so you're not just, you can have informed constraints upon you that help the design process. So I'm actually going to add add that there right in this to sort of inform the shape of the wing to the audience. So that line is really off. That needs to be like down here. Okay, noted. So I did the Master of Design through DAP, which is also University of Cincinnati. So that was kind of crazy to see both worlds. And it was also crazy because I was around like the all-male mechanical engineering cohort, where the college was sort of bragging about having like a 3% increase in the number of girls that had enrolled, and it was like from 4 to 7 or something. It's like, oh my gosh. And then going to DAP, which was like art kid central, I was like, oh god. Talk about imposter syndrome, but I got through it. Okay, this isn't too horrible. I don't know whether I want the shotgun there. I'm just gonna add like this sort of detail just to indicate that there's something there. An engine. I'm gonna add one of these. I like adding. I should match that. It should not be that intense. It should be like that. I do like adding those sort of horizontal lines that don't line up with the wing angle. Because boy does that. So that's like midpoint. So we'll just say, like that really helps show a dihedral angle and stuff like that. And then same up here, I'll do like one of these, and then like one of these, and then that sort of flares out the bottom, so we'll do that. Added that already. Sort of shape. I don't really know what shape that is, so it's, don't look too closely. Sort of feeling like a midway ellipse here, just sort of indicating that connection point. I don't know, I'll take it. I'm starting to spread some graphite around. Pretty sloppy, pretty not well practiced, but hey, that's the whole point of this. If I'm actually making any sort of I mean, this is a sketch, but if I do want to make any sort of composition, I could do like a front. I could do a front angle in one of these two spots. I like knowing it here normally, but my page is running out, so I might actually try it here. And this will really help. I mean, considering this barely even informs anything because it was that initial sketch. Let's do this over here so that you can really see like the dihedral angle. So there's my horizontal line, and I'm actually going to go a bit lower so that I have this vertical stabilizer, and so that has room. There's my center point of the nose, so that'll have like a circle. And you know what? Now we're fine. You know what? I could put I'll put a shallow, very shallow angle, because like perfectly front on, like you're never looking at anything from that sort of angle. So actually, we'll keep that same. Well, yeah, and then we'll just have this. So it's like something like that. It's tiny. Why is that so small? Damn it. Alright, redo. Hopefully you guys get what I'm going for here eventually. So sort of like that. And then we'll have our, so this is our halfway point in the fuselage. Just make that like a reference. And then sort of midway between that and the front is where the wings start, and we had that like lump body on top. And then that goes to essentially the same point back here. So like that's my wing, and it would look like this is essentially going down to this point. So let's just have it go there. We got our thing, this guy, and then sort of the same size over here. Okay. And then we got our vertical stabilizer coming out of the back here. And that's about as high as essentially the reference dimension I keep doing. So like this. And that's going from like the middle here up. I don't know. Call it there. Maybe exaggerate it a bit. We got our wing guys. I don't know about all this. This is not looking the best, but you know. Oh, and the engines, of course. So that was like down here and down here. So this will be what informs the twin engine the most. You can kind of see it ghosted in there and then completely gone there, but at least it'll be here. And then we get that sort of like almost like hip shape. We'll do that same little indicator there. I don't know. It's a rough sketch. It's helping inform this main sketch over here. I'm happy with this. I'll just quickly fill it out here. And this line, running out of lead, and graphite. Anything else I'm missing here? Oh, and then sort of the shape that's cut into the fuselage there, that is nice to indicate. And then we'll do our ellipses, which are essentially circles at this point. I mean, barely see the exhaust guy back there, sadly. It's one of my favorite features. I hate this. It looks too much of a hump. And this wing is like rounded. I'll take it. And something that I think is really cool to elevate some sketches is just adding that sort of bounding box. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. And it sort of pops things off of a page. Man, does that even line up? Oh well. I don't know if it's good to have it going through the center line of that top guy, but you know. I'll have it go all the way to the wing. Oh, that looks unbelievably bad. Here, hang on. Let me fix that. And that's nowhere near following the edge of the paper, so that just looks off to the eye. I don't know. It's something. It's practice. I don't know if it's pretentious to sign it. Probably. But I'll do it. It's sort of that relaxing, rewarding feeling, you know? So, yeah, this is my sketch. Hopefully it looks good to you guys. I still can't tell as I'm looking at it upside down, so I don't know how it looks on camera, really. Looks good upside down, honestly. But, yeah.